Hi. I'm Libby, and if you don't know me, that's because I am terribly, terribly shy and socially awkward, and so just standing here is a bit much for me. There is one word in the Bible that always triggers me, and even though I have experienced a great blessing, this word reminds me of some great pain. And that word is barren. Byron and I were married in 1995. And by 2005, it was still just the two of us. So I decided I was going to take matters into my own hands and that we were going to adopt. And I somehow managed to bring Byron along with me on this journey. We thought about Russian adoption. We even went to a meeting about foster to adopt. But for various reasons, we decided that that just wasn't for us. And I really wanted a baby. I wanted the full motherhood experience as much as I could have. So the best option for us was to go to China. There's a lot of paperwork, fingerprints even, to get accepted to go to China to get a baby. And we spent months doing this, and we did this, and we got everything together, and our paperwork was sent off and was sent to China. And once it's sent to China, they give you something called a login date. It means you're accepted, and all you have to do is wait. Typical wait is about a year. So we have a login date. Yay, it's going to be a year. Well, a very unusual thing happened at the same time our login date went. Adoptions from China almost came to a screeching halt. The agencies in America realized this. The Chinese agencies also realized this. And they came up with a plan that if you would agree to adopt an older child or a child with special needs, you could get moved up. Byron and I talked about that, and we decided that wasn't something we thought we were able to do because we'd never been parents. So we thought we'll just be patient. I kept checking login dates, and Byron kept telling me to stop because I was getting upset. All the while that we were waiting, everyone around me was having babies. My business partner and his wife were expecting their third. My youngest sister was expecting her fourth. There were no babies for me. In February of 2009, against Byron's orders, I decided to check on a login date, and I found a website that was giving predictions. And the reason I did this is because I wanted to know if by 2010 I was going to be a mother. So I went to this website, and the website said, "You will be lucky if you will be matched by 2015. I had a meltdown. I had a crying, screaming into a towel meltdown, begging God for a miracle. None of my plans were working. The only thing that was good that was going on was a Bible study that I was in. It was full of some women who took somebody who is terribly shy and doesn't even like having conversations, let alone standing in front of people. And they just were walking me through this. They were just praying with me. I don't know what would have happened if I had stopped 15 minutes before my miracle. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't pressed on. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't persevered. In the fall of 2009, a spotted dog came into our life. Her name was Ellie. She's no longer with us. She was Byron's nemesis. But in my Bible study, we were studying for the holiday season, Thanksgivings and blessings. And I wrote this. But I was thankful. Thank you for Ellie, for giving me something to love, nurture, and learn from while I wait for any child you send my way. I shared this with my Bible study group. And you see, I think this was the first time I really turned the whole thing over to God. It's any child you send my way. Not my plans, not what can I can do, not how can I make this happen. Your plans. These women were my prayer warriors. They would pray with me that God's good, pleasing, and perfect plan would happen for my family. What I didn't know was at the same time, the same holiday season, there was some desperate young woman on the other side of the country who was leaving her family and everything she knew because she was desperate and was coming to live in Georgia with the only family member she had here. I want to tell you right now, I'm just going to take a little side note, that if you aren't in a Bible study group with a bunch of people who can pray with you and walk you through this life and who can help you grow in your relationship with God, please think about doing that. Or think about starting one, because these women were a true blessing to me. In March of 2010, I went to lunch to celebrate the birthday of two of my aunts. One of them is only 5 years older than me, my Aunt Suzanne. And at this lunch, she said that she was going to adopt her granddaughter. Now, normally when I had heard about all these babies happening around me, I would be pleasant and happy and grateful on the outside, but on the inside, I would be broken. And there would be this rip in my hole in my heart. Well, this time, I didn't feel that way. This time, what I felt was a nudge. My Aunt Suzanne is a lawyer, and I knew she knew a lot of people, so I asked her, I said, do you happen to know anybody who works on adoptions? And she did, and she gave us the number of somebody. The following week, we went down to McDonough, Georgia, and we met with this lawyer. And the lawyer said the week before she had met with a desperate young lady who was looking for a family for a child she was going to have that she could not take care of. The only thing that she knew was that she wanted this child to have a family, and she did not want this child to go to foster care. She hadn't had any medical assistance at this point, and if we agreed to take over her medical care, then we could adopt her baby. And everyone assumed that her baby was due in June. In April, I had to go to a conference in Washington, D.C., and I got a call from the lawyer, and the lawyer said, next week, she's going to go, and we're going to find out how healthy she is and how healthy the baby is, and we'll get a better lineup on when the baby is going to be born. And I said, okay. On March the 20th, I got a call from the lawyer, and she said, she went to see the doctor, she's really, really healthy, but the baby is not going to come in June. The baby is going to be born on April the 29th. What I had spent years and years and years trying to make happen, doing it all on my own, God said, I'm doing this in 9 days. 11 days later, because of adoption regulations, we had to wait too. We couldn't go near the hospital or the baby. So 11 days later, we didn't go to China to get a baby. We didn't even go down to McDonough to get the baby. We went to Gainesville. They put Elena in my arms. And they took us out to the car, and they put her in a car seat, and they shut the door. And they let us drive away with the baby. Everything from that point forward that happened in the adoption went so smoothly. And especially Elena, because she's the best baby ever. I want to tell you that even though I have used some not so pleasant words to describe myself as super timid and terribly shy and not wanting to talk to you, God's going to use that anyway. And if I use the label barren, God says, tell them who you are. I'm Elena Suzanne's mom.